Hola, you guys. Hey, Tiana. Hey, Maya. What's up? Hey, girl. Let me go ahead and add our guest. Hey, girl. Thank you, Tiana. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Hey, girl.
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Mary Tamaga. Thank you. What's up? Girl, I had to make some coffee real quick because in honor of tonight's show, I'm not drinking liquor. So I had to make something, coffee. So I know I'm probably gonna be up tonight. I'm
Oh,
sorry because I think I told you the wrong time, the wrong UK time.
it's all good. I just had coffee, so I am not sleeping at all tonight.
You did? What is it? Okay, so I've heard like people who drink a lot of liquor, when they stop, they drink a lot of coffee. Is that true?
Yeah, you drink a lot of coffee or like smoke, which is really bad, and I'm trying to quit, but I'm on the vape.
Oh wow. So before the vape, what were you smoking?
Cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting because I know like addictions, like they say addictions transfer, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So I know we already kind of met when we were gonna do this before.
Yeah.
But let's pick up from the beginning. So well, first of
Okay.
all, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where you're from?
Okay. Uh, Yeah, well, hi. Thanks for having me. I'm Yaz, 6 years sober, and I run a non-alcoholic mobile cocktail business. So that's what I do. And yeah, I'm a stepmom. That's it. That's my life. Advocate for sobriety and especially like people from diverse backgrounds and Black people, because that's my history.
See, I love that because that was the main reason why I wanted to have you on because I feel like we don't get to hear these stories from our people.
Yeah.
So having you on, you know what I'm saying? You being a black woman, your experience, even though you're in the UK and we're in America, but you know what I'm saying? The experience is still similar being a black woman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's different in the UK. I feel like um it's because they have like in the UK we have this whole weird underlying like class system as well. So there's just like a lot of different things to navigate. But we'll get into that.
Okay, okay. All right. So let's start off from the beginning though. Like, so at what age did you start drinking?
13.
13.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, okay. So what's the legal age where you're at?
18. So you have to be 18 to
18.
start drinking. But most people will, I mean, it's like that everywhere, right? I feel like everyone had their first drink like before it was legal. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
is. I had my first drink at 18. It's legal 21 here. But
okay. So,
13.
yeah. Yeah. So
How how
it was a friend's party, and it was like my first drink, and just wanted to look cool and wanted to fit in, and it was like so bad, so I got really this is the story, okay, should we just get right into it? It's like so embarrassing. So I got really drunk. It was a house party. Got really drunk, and then smoked some weed and passed out in the bathroom. Yeah, and then woke up from passing out and made out with the guy that my friend liked in the front of everybody, and then birthday, she was like, you know, we had a big fight in school, and that was the start of my drinking career. So I should have known, right? You should have
Drinking
known.
career. Oh my God, with the guy that your friend liked? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I don't want to be like, oh, it wasn't me, it was the drink, because I don't want to make any excuses. But it's just, yeah.
Well, I mean, but it does make you do things that you typically normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But it was, yeah, I don't know. And if like kind of that's just how it started, and that is how it continued. Like that is just how it continued.
So so the first time that you drank, you now the first time that I drink, I didn't like go to excess. I just drank a couple beers. But so your first experience, you're already like excessively drinking, passing out, making out with your best friend's crush, right? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Wow. So at 13. So after that experience, did you like when was your next time? Did you just start doing this often or
So it was like at parties, and I think it was kind of, it wasn't looked at as like a bad thing, I guess, because I don't want to say like everyone was doing it, but like the crowd that I was in, every time there was a birthday party or every time there was a just like a social occasion, that's what people wanted to do. Like they wanted to go out and they wanted to get drink and get drunk. Like where I grew up, initially where I grew up, I was in London, and then we moved to Oxford, which is like it's quite a sheltered, like middle class area. And I guess middle class teens, especially like a lot of like white middle class teens, they haven't really got anything to rebel against. So this is their thing of like rebelling. And I was just
is
in that
drinking?
crowd. It wasn't a diverse crowd. And so I was like, I guess just a follower, like just going along. And it took me like a while. I had to leave that environment to really like get back to who I was and like become more of like a leader instead of a follower, right? And that was like a lot of the drinking involved in that.
I love that because that can go for so many different things, like being a follower, to just doing things that others are doing. So we kind of feel like, well, this is normal. Like I posted this on my Facebook, and a lot of people were like, it's normal to drink like this. Like, you know, we need to just act, we need to just know it's normal. Like, why are we, you know, talking about it's a negative thing? Not to say it's negative or positive, but just because something is normal, or just because a lot of people do it, does that make it normal or does that make it okay? You know what I mean? But we think that in our mind.
Yeah, and like so many, and I feel like it's kind of, it's different now when I like my two stepdaughters, when I see them and like they're, you know, the Instagram TikTok culture, like I really feel like that's also influencing like maybe behaviors that aren't really positive, but like that's normal because everyone's on TikTok and they're like, this is normal behavior, and it's like, is it
Is it? And even if it is it healthy? Like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. Like, I feel like everyone just gets accustomed. This is how I feel too, because like from where I'm from, like everyone's going out and you know what I'm saying? Nobody just stops to say for 1 minute, like, why do we keep doing this? You know what I mean? So I totally get it. Now,
And
was anyone in your
oh,
huh?
sorry, you carry on. I just wanted to hear about you and your relationship with drinking. I think that was so healthy what you said. Like you just had like a couple of beers or whatever, and it wasn't about excess. And so, like, how come you started off your relationship like so healthy?
So, okay. Well, it goes into the next question I was going to ask you. So,
Okay.
someone in my family was actually addicted to alcohol and other things, and they actually um, committed vehicular manslaughter
Oh,
because of it. So, they were drunk and driving, and they killed someone in a
wow.
accident. So, because of that, like I never wanted to drink,
Yeah.
but it was kind of like you. Like I kind of felt the peer pressure of doing it. And so I started drinking, but my excessive drinking came from an addiction transferring, like we spoke about earlier.
Mm.
So I had an addiction, which was actually to food because I was like obese. I was 346 pounds. And
Wow.
when I lost the weight, it the addiction transferred to alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which a lot of people don't know that addictions transfer.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing and bringing it up, because you're so right. Like, I feel like if you have an addictive personality, that's the thing that you need to work on. And like, so when I first stopped drinking, I transferred that to like working out obsessively, like obsessive, right? I was in the gym like all of the time. I would work out, like, I've got a heart condition, so actually I shouldn't be working out excessively. And there's like cardio, I shouldn't do that, but I was in there, and I would be in there till the treadmill, like the monitor would say, like, we've lost your pulse, right?
Wow.
Like really dangerous stuff, because I needed to just I need something, right? I just needed
Something.
something. Um, but yeah, I mean, thank God for both of us that we like managed to get past that.
And that's really interesting that you bring up because I find a lot of like people who are addicted to alcohol will go to the gym and become obsessed with working out. And I always question like if they can't work out, will they go back to drinking?
Yeah, it's like, what are you replacing? And it's not for me, because everyone deals with things in their own way. Like, it's not for me to say, like, obviously we all know exercise is like really important, but anything to the extreme. And I just feel like so many people, especially when they first start going sober, they're like, oh yeah, this is great, like I'm totally fixed. And it's like, okay, but actually I've been in recovery for 6 years and there's still work, you
Yeah.
know.
I can only imagine. That was the question that I was going to ask you later on because especially during, certain situations like the pandemic that just happened or, anything celebratory situations, like it must be really hard. But was anyone in your family addicted to alcohol?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. So my dad's side, they're, I guess, just quite conservative. Like, they didn't really drink. Like, there would be drinks at like a special occasion, but not really like nobody on that side. And then my mum's side, they're quite Christian. So not like at Christmas, that was the only time I ever really saw like any of the family drink. And then it was like
Mm.
set drinks, right? It would be like the rum, the Baileys, the whiskey, and like that's it. And that was it. And my mum, like, she can't drink. Like, she will have, if she even tries to drink like one glass of wine, she'll fall asleep. So it was like, it wasn't
That's
any,
my mom too.
right? It wasn't
Mm.
anything to do with like my family background. I think it was my proximity of where I was, like in my life. And then also we had like quite a turbulent like upbringing, I think.
Yeah. What was turbulent about it?
We moved, so my parents got divorced, and then we moved like from Oxford to another part of England, which is, it's like totally different. So it's the Midlands. There's the South, and then there's the Midlands, and then there's the North. And that you like just moving schools, I guess, when you're. Oh no, what's
Yep.
happened?
Wait. Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Are we back?
Rose, yeah. So we moved, and then that was just a whole thing. And then before that, in my like childhood, actually, I was a survivor of childhood abuse. So that was like a big
Oh, wow.
thing. Not in my family; it was somebody external to the family. But just all of that stuff I was carrying, and I never shared that with anyone. And it kind of got worse. And then I moved to school, and I was like bullied. It was just
Mm.
it was just a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot, and you didn't share with anyone. I feel like I had similar situations to that too. That and I didn't share it with anyone either. Hey Pierre Ingram.
Oh,
Um,
Pierre. Hi, Pierre. We love Pierre.
so where you're from though, is it more like I know you said for a while you were living with like a lot of Caucasian, well, a lot of I don't know. Do you guys call them Caucasian?
I think say you could say Caucasian, you could say white. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
yeah, no.
So did you continue to live there, or did you move to places that were more like
Diverse.
mhm.
Yeah, so when I was in the Midlands, um, it was it was a little bit more diverse, but it really wasn't that much. And it was only till I when I was like older, that I actually like I think I had like there were like two black kids in my school and like we were friends. And like
Hold
that
on. Phone on do not disturb. I forgot to do that. um
no,
okay, so I know you said that your first experience with drinking, you went to excess, you were drinking excessively. So did that continue? Because, there's some people drink, right? But there's not all people drink to excess every time they drink. So were you one of
yeah,
those
no,
people who like,
yeah, like I did totally. Like it never I was never one of those people that was like, I just have one drink. It was always like, I'm gonna drink and drink and I'm gonna drink till I like pass out. I'm gonna drink till I like don't know what's going on. And it like every single time. There was never one time that I can remember when I had a drink where I was like, I'll just stop at two. Like never.
hey, Seti Barber, I think that's one of your people too.
Ah,
um,
ready?
I love that you brought that up because so we spoke earlier about things being normal. Oh, hey Tiffany, Miss Explicit. She said you're beautiful. Yes, she is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I feel rough right now. Getting over a cold. The
Oh,
kids caught a cold at school, and then obviously they brought it into the house,
back.
and now we're all sick. So.
Oh wow. Oh, I'm sorry. I have you all live and you're not feeling well.
Yeah,
Um,
good.
but so I didn't know that that was something different about myself until earlier this year when I spoke to a therapist and she specialized in alcoholism and whatnot. I still drink. I want to make that very clear,
Yeah, and
but
that. Oh,
she
what
specialized.
saying? Yep, same. One drunk and then we're on. Loving this convo. Thanks, Mike. And I saw your earlier comment about being seen as a white kid with no rebellion. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
No, no, it's fine. But she mentioned that she said, when I go out to drink, I can have one drink, I can have two drinks, and that's it. Like I can stop and continue to enjoy my night. But she was like, some people can't do that,
Yeah.
and I was like, I felt seen. I was like, oh, that's me. Like I can't do that. I can't just I couldn't before. I couldn't just go out and have one drink or have two drinks and just stop. It
Right.
was once I started, I kept going. And I think a lot of people think that everyone has the same control that they have over their drinking. So they feel like, oh, it's just one drink. No, for some people, it's not going to be just one drink. For some people, it's going to continue to go throughout the whole night
That's
until
it.
they're blackout drunk or doing some crazy stuff.
That's it.
Right?
That's so true. It's so good that your therapist like recognized that because like I didn't have anyone. I didn't go to therapy until like I think I was like 26. So I was just around all these people and like obviously a lot of people that I knew also had addiction issues and they're the worst people because you're going out and you're like, do I have a problem? They're like, no. Do I have? It's like, okay, so we're all in denial. Let's just get fucked and go to the club.
And so it's really hard to gauge alcoholism in a way because it's like how much is too much, right?
Yeah.
But when I researched this, they said, any woman who drinks more than 7 drinks a week and any man who drinks more than 9 drinks a week would be considered an alcoholic,
Yeah.
which is a lot of people because, in one night you're taking down how many drinks? Imagine in a week, right? Like, so technically a lot more people probably have a problem with it than they think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think because people imagine like what it looks like to have a problem with alcohol, and it doesn't look like them and their reality, right? And so they think like, oh, well, I'm functioning. I go to school, or I got a job. I got a family. I'm able to function. I'm not like lying on the side of the road with a bottle. But that's not what it looks like. Yeah, like I was functioning. There was never a time in my life apart from when I chose to not work and to take that time out for my mental health. There was never a time where I wasn't functioning. I wasn't employed. Like I was dating. Now that those dates and the dating was crazy and it was horrendous. Okay. And my work, I don't know, you have to ask my bosses what the, the work was like. But right. But from outside, people would be like, okay, she's doing well,
Yeah.
she's doing well. And that wasn't the truth. Like,
And I want to make it also very clear, you guys, I don't know exactly if we've had like the same situations. I mean, I've had embarrassing stuff to happen when I was drunk, right? Or like stuff that I probably wouldn't talk about. But, you know, I didn't have any relationships where it really got into the middle of it, or
that's,
working. So I never knew that a lot of people drink on the job because I wasn't drinking at work.
yeah, I drank on the job. I never drank on the job. I would
Yeah,
always,
but some people
for me,
do.
a lot of people do. A lot of
Mhm.
people do, and you don't realize. But I would always drink after work, and that would like, because I was like a workaholic as well. So I would be like working until like 10, 11, and like drinking, and just thinking that that was okay and that was normal behavior, and it's just not. It's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. It's become though, especially so for millennials, like our age group, because you're a millennial too. We are actually one of the, well, they're crediting us for making alcohol consumption more marketable because we're so public with it.
Oh, really? That I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Ah,
So the generations before us, they did drink a lot, but it was something that they kind of kept private. They did at
okay.
home or whatever. But us, it's like a let's go out, let's go to happy hour, so they
Yeah,
find that we're the ones who have made it this marketable thing, which I find
yeah.
interesting.
It's really interesting. But what do you think about Gen Z, who are like actively saying no to alcohol? So they're like the highest rising rate of non-drinkers, and I find that like really comforting. Maybe it's because they watched us millennials and they were like, "You're working too hard, you're drinking too much, your relationships." They were like, "We don't want that. We don't want that for our life."
It's so true, but I also think like when like certain drugs are more accessible now, I feel like,
I,
and I think like Gen Z has their own issue with like other
yes,
stuff
the
that
edible.
like liquor isn't as appealing to them. But let's Vanille Vibe said people unknowingly peer pressure others to drink. Every time I say no to taking a drink or a shot, people look at me like I'm the problem in the room. That's very true. You ever said no to a drink and the person just keeps swinging it closer to you, like stop playing, just take it? I actually absolutely hate that.
Yeah,
Very true.
yeah, it's that peer pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like kind of what we spoke about earlier, like being considerate of other people. Like some people can't just have one drink and you continue to pressure them and it's like be considerate of the fact that not everybody is the same.
Yeah, and like, why do you need someone else to drink? And it's like, what? Why do you need them to drink so that you can carry on drinking? It's like, no, just let everyone do them, right?
Yeah. Because it comforts them. It
Yes,
comforts them to know, like, I'm not just drinking alone, like, you're drinking with me. But you know what? And I posted about this topic on Facebook, and I feel like a lot of people get so upset when you talk about drinking because they feel like it's a mirror. Like, now they have to, okay, like, why are you talking about it? I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? When it's like, if you
yeah,
feel like it's okay and you feel like you are not doing anything wrong, like, why do you care? Why can't we talk about it?
Exactly. And because you know why, because they're called out and then they have to self-reflect and they're like, oh my God, I've got like when I used to, even when I first stopped drinking, I used to go to like the bar or whatever and I'd be like, have you got anything non-alcoholic? And they'd be like, why are you here? It's like, what? Because I want to socialize. I want to see my friends. Like, it's that it's that disconnect, and it's like, just because I don't want to drink, I'm not calling anyone else out. I'm not telling people that there's a
Yeah.
problem with alcohol. Yeah, I don't think that alcohol is the devil at all.
It's
I just,
not.
for me, I personally cannot have, like, it's not for me, and that's okay.
It,
That's okay.
exactly. I love that. Mike is sober said, I think some problem drinkers need to feel enabled by shutting down anyone who starts thinking they have a problem. Like it makes them reflect on their own drinking. Yeah. And then there's this mad fragility around the word alcoholic. It's a cursed term, in my opinion, so much stigma. With a lot of things, there's so much stigma because we've made it like this is right and this is wrong. So you're an alcoholic and that's, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, they put a face to alcoholism. Like
Yeah,
you're drunk, you're on the street, you're homeless. Like they put this face on alcoholism when it looks like so many different things. It doesn't just look like that.
yeah, like you're a bum, you did it to yourself, like all of these things, and it's just, I mean, whatever people want to call it. I say alcohol recovery, and I say alcoholic because that helps me. Like I feel like I need that reminder, because it's something that, well, in AA, right, they say you've got no control, God has control. I don't believe that. I think I do have control. I think I've done a lot of work to have control, but I use the term alcoholic because that's what it is, and that helps me. Like, I don't ever want to get complacent and be like, yeah, I can have one drink, because I can't. I just
Yeah.
can't.
So my story is a little bit different. Shout out to Stacks De Niro. So he made a post on Facebook that actually inspired me to do this.
Ah,
That was why I started looking for someone like you.
I,
Um, yeah, because he made a post saying that like these days everyone pre-games for everything. We pre-game to go to like our kids softball games. We pre-game to go to church, even, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and it's very I think it's so interesting because that speaks to me. I used to have to drink before every time that I was going to socialize,
yeah,
or even if it wasn't the bar or the club, even if it was just going somewhere with someone, I
right.
would have to drink. And like, I don't understand. I still to this day don't understand, because I still drink, why I feel like I have to do that. And I think we don't ask that question to ourselves enough.
Do you think that's like an anxiety thing, or is it just like now it's just a cultural society thing?
I think the cultural society, whatever that thing. I think that's I think that's really, really big. I think that's what's going on with a lot of people. For me, I do think that anxiety plays a big part in it. Mike is sober said, and then there's the AA telling you if you have a problem with alcohol and fundamentally you're broken and need to be fixed.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's one of the critiques of AA.
Wow, I've never been, so I didn't know that. Vanilla Vibe said the one who leaves work every single day and needs a drink is just as much as an alcoholic as the one who's literally always pissy drunk, right? Just different levels. It's
Yeah.
still considered alcoholism. It is, and we don't want to say that, but it is. Um, I don't know if he's still in here. Let's see. I'm gonna invite him on, but I don't know if he's gonna
Uh,
come on. But at what point did you say like? Well, first of all, are there any more like things you want to share of like when you would go overboard with your drinking?
um, I think, I mean, it's all a horrible blur, but I think, um, definitely, definitely before I got sober, the thing that made me really go, okay, I need to get sober, was I was in a relationship and my partner was a cocaine addict,
Wow.
and like our relationship deteriorated. It was from like 2020 to 24, and we would go out and we would be partying, and I would be drinking a lot, he would be drinking a lot, our friends would be drinking a lot, we would be doing a lot of drugs, and his cocaine use like really started to increase. And my alcohol use increased, but I really didn't like. Obviously, who does? I mean, have you seen people on cocaine? They're horrible, and I really didn't like it. Um, and we had like just the worst. It was obviously like two addicts is such a bad relationship, especially when you're so young. Um, and I would cheat on him a lot. Like it was just awful. But I had
Because
to
of the
go out. So
alcohol?
yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't even tell you some stories. I don't want to, maybe that's for another time, but really, oh God,
No, listen, I posted about something when I drink a lot, I will literally I'll kiss someone at the bar that I never met before.
that's
Like
what it
I've
was
done
like.
that.
That's what it was like. Oh my God. Okay.
And
And
I
I'm
won't
not proud
even
of it.
remember it.
It's so bad, right? I'm not proud of it. And it just got to the stage where I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me? I need to leave this relationship. I need to sort my life out. Like my life was feeling really meaningless. I was like, what is this? I'm just going out, all the time. For what? For what?
Listen, that's how I felt. Now, I think a lot of people think that I was a bigger partier girl than I was. I've never been like a super party girl. Like when I was a promoter, I was, because obviously I had to be at the clubs. So I was
Yes,
there.
I'm
I was there
emotion
Sunday
too.
through. You was. I was there Sunday through Saturday, but when I wasn't a promoter, I wasn't a big party girl. But I felt like, wow, this is really the only thing. And so one of my friends, she's not in here, but one of her boyfriends in the past said, you and your friends only go out to clubs. Like you guys only go, like you guys don't do anything else together. And I realized like, yo,
Yeah,
that's true.
that's what it was. Seriously, that's what it was. We didn't like, I don't know why. We didn't have like a good social life that didn't involve drinking. It's really sad now to look at it, but thank God that everyone has moved on, right?
Yeah. Vanilla Vibe said I kissed a stranger one time right in front of his girlfriend. Oh,
Lord Jesus.
this
Been there,
um
been there, okay? There's no shame, there's no judgment in the chat, okay?
no
I'll tell
judgment.
you a story that I can tell you because I've written about it. It's on the Black Minds Matter blog, which is like a UK site for mental health for Black people. I would strongly advise everyone to go on it. But I was at a party and my boyfriend was there and I was off my face and I was like grinding up on this guy and making out with him. It didn't realize my boyfriend was right there staring at what was going on. I had extension ponytail. The ponytail fell off and flew across the room in front of everybody and my boyfriend, and I just ran upstairs, and then I was like, I need to.
I'm sorry.
I'm right.
I mean,
It's tragic.
at least we can laugh at it now though.
Yeah.
Stacks De Niro said the funniest thing is I've been peer pressured way more as an adult than as a teen. Adults look at you crazy when you say no to liquor. We just spoke about this before you came
Yeah.
on because Vanilla Vibes mentioned, when you say no to a drink, they're like, what? No, like, what are you talking about? You corny. Like, they watch you to drink and it's like, you can't even say no as an adult to
Yeah.
drinking.
Right.
Or you're
Precious
labeled
thing.
like boring.
Yeah, it's not boring. I don't know why people say that. Like, not like, why is it boring to choose not to drink? Like, I'm not changing anything about my personality, right? Like, I can still, I mean, listen, this is a whole other thing. I can't really dance, but I'll still try and turn up in the club. I'll still try.
Well, I know you mentioned that on one of your posts. You said that when you're in the clubs as a sober person, you dance more because
Yeah,
it helps you get in the mood. Now, personally, I don't like being in the club. I don't like being around drunk people when I'm sober.
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot and it's annoying. And then I'm like, damn, that's me. Like when I'm drunk.
I think it's like, take it for what it is, right? You go, you have a good time, and then when you like, you can always feel the vibe changes. And then when you feel the vibe change, like I'm like, there's always a certain time where I'm just like, okay, it's not that it's like not safe, but I'm just like, I'm not really having fun anymore, and then I'll just go, and actually that's fine with me.
Exactly. No, it's so true. And it goes into what Maya the creator just said, which we spoke about earlier. Why do the adults in this day and age need to drink before doing anything to have fun? It's so
That's what
true.
you were
Like,
saying.
yeah, like in order for like, and I started thinking, so during the pandemic, I actually started drinking less because I'm a social drinker. So the pandemic,
Okay.
being at home, I didn't drink. Like, I could have a whole bar in my house and I won't touch it until I'm socializing. But I had
Yeah.
to ask myself afterwards, I was like, do I actually like doing these things if I have to get intoxicated to do it? Do I actually enjoy it? Right?
Right. And
I don't know.
what was the verdict?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
My issue, like I said, was going overboard. I was drinking excessively whenever I drank. I didn't drink a lot. I would probably drink once a week or once every 2 weeks. But when I did, it was to excess. And
Yeah.
now I'm not saying that I want to be sober. I don't know if I want to be sober, you know,
That's
but
fine.
I have tried to work on my control, which is like having one or two drinks and being able to say that's it. But I just, I don't know. I've become a little bit of a hermit in this time because I don't want to have to drink in order to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's,
And
but I think the problem, right? There's not enough, like, there's not that narrative in society that's like, here's all the stuff you can do. Because, right, we know there's so much you can do. You don't actually need alcohol for any of it. But there isn't like that, those spaces, those places, those choices. Like, we're not seeing it. It's not on any of our feeds. Like, we're not being, like, it's not being advertised to us. Christmas is coming up. Like, all we're seeing is all the food, all the drinks. Okay, well, what's in those drinks? Like, Christmas is I think it's a really like dangerous time for when people can slide into excess and like maybe not be so mindful about what they're drinking. And that's because we're not being shown another narrative.
mm-hmm. You hit it on the money because actually, do you know that alcohol companies, liquor companies are marketing way more, especially to women now, because we're
Mm,
such huge consumers, and marketing to Black women specifically because we are such huge consumers. We buy so much stuff that they
yeah.
have now, started making these campaigns to target Black women. It's crazy. But like you said, and like
And
you said, I don't know. You
what you were
what?
saying, I think that increase. Like, this whole like brunch culture, you must have seen that, right? And that is like I feel like that's so like double-sided, especially for Black women, because it's like, yes, we deserve that soft life, but when you're pushing the alcohol as part of that soft life, I just think like, who's really winning here?
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like, even I don't know if you saw the story recently in Jamaica of the St. Catherine woman who
No.
it was her 21st birthday. So in order to, celebrate, she took 21 shots of liquor and she actually died. She
Oh
passed
my
away.
God, no.
Um and so it's like what you said, it's like a double-edged sword. Like, yes, we should celebrate, yes, celebrate our friends, have fun with our friends, but imagine if that's your friend and you wake up the day after celebrating and now they've passed away because you were enticing them to take 21 shots of liquor to celebrate their birthday.
Oh my God.
Brunch culture, I'm a part of that because a platform that I'm a part of, we do throw brunches. But I agree with you too, and I want people to understand that, like, you can drink and still agree that it can be unhealthy at times.
Exactly. And like, I
Um,
love brunch. Please don't get me wrong. Like, I love brunch. And I'm not, and
yeah.
like I said, like, it's never about stop drinking completely for everyone, but it is about being mindful. Like, it is about being mindful. And I wish that we were more thoughtful about everything. Like, yeah, like brunch culture, like you said, that's great, but let's just be really mindful. And Mike Sober made a really good point. Alcohol marketing is crazy. What other addictive substance has that amount of marketing behind it? Yeah,
Yeah. It's so
yeah,
true. And we act like alcohol is somehow different from all these other addictive substances. When people die from alcohol, you know,
Yeah.
it's still a drug at the end of the day.
4 a day
Um,
in the UK. 4 a day die.
for a day.
Yeah, in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 people a day die. What does Staxtonero
Um,
say? My top rate is I have to
he
finish a bottle.
said Jackson. Yeah, that his toxic trait is I have to finish a bottle of wine once I open it. That listen, I can
We've
relate because so when I do, even when I do my live shows, now I'm drinking coffee because of this segment, but I usually do drink wine, and I had to like start monitoring, like I had to start splitting the wine up into smaller bottles, because if I don't do that, I will literally drink the whole bottle and be drunk as hell by the end of the live. So
it's
like
easily
that's a toxic. Mhm.
like so easily done. And I think that's the other thing, like there are so many drinks that taste good. Like let's not get it twisted. Like it tastes good. Some of it tastes really good.
And even when it doesn't taste good, I'm gonna like I just keep going. I'm not even gonna lie. It's
Yeah.
just what I do.
Have you ever tried like any of the non-alcoholic versions or like any non-alcoholic products?
Never.
Would you ever? This is so interesting. Would you ever?
I of course I would. But I mean I would. I don't want to say like how it would feel. I know. So we didn't even get to speak about this. Like one of my fears of not drinking, because you brought up the non-alcoholic beverages, and one of my cousins, if she goes out with me, she gets non-alcoholic. She'll get a non-alcoholic drink. But I'm gonna be honest, some of my family members were actually a big reason why I did drink, because I did think of them of being like uptight and a little
Yeah.
like stuffy, and I was like, I don't want to be like that, like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
So it would entice me to drink more, honestly,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
which is why
I
like
think
I'm happy to have someone like you on the show, because you show people like you can be fun, you can do the same things, like have the same type of personality but sober. It's possible.
yeah, and that's what like. That's literally what I realized. Like my personality is like I'm a better person. Like I'm more outgoing, I'm more confident, I'm more fun when I'm not drinking than when I was. Because when I was drinking, like all you're gonna get is like sloppy. It's like sloppy ass, like 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 that's not fun. Whereas, and I want more people to know that. Like I want more people, and I do feel like it's a self-confidence thing. Like I do feel like you have to just try it. Yeah, just try and see how you are on your own, because most people are amazing. Yeah, most people, everyone's got a story, everyone's fun, everybody's like got heart. And being sober for me has allowed me to connect with so much more people, because I'm there, like I'm clear, I'm present, I can
Yeah.
connect with people and see like all this amazing stuff. Like people are so positive, but when it's under a cloud of drink, you just can't see that. Obviously, not everyone, but
Yes.
most people.
Mm-hmm. Vanille Vibe said, my toxic trait is once I reach an event and I'm having a hard time getting comfortable, I always feel like alcohol will get me there and I start drinking. Yes, because it relieves the
Yeah,
anxiety.
that's it.
But I love how you said like we're drunk, we're sloppy, you know, so we're not able to even really connect with our friends, even though you guys, I researched this as well, and people feel closer to the friends that they're able to go out and drink with and party with, which I think is
Yeah,
crazy, but it makes people feel like they have some sort of bond more than with other people.
bond. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So what
Um,
I do was like create things that were like outside of that for the social bond. So like me and my friends, we set up like the Oxford Black Women's Group, which is just like a really nice network, and alcohol's not a part of that, but we do loads of stuff. So we just, maybe one time it's like a lunch, or another time we're planning like a community event, or maybe we're giving a talk. So it's not, it's about that building the community, but like there's no alcohol involved. And of course, we don't say no alcohol. Like, if you want to drink, you can drink, but that's not our focus.
Focus. I love that. Mike is sober, said I drank for 20 years to try to be someone else. Been sober 323 days, and I'm finally finding out who I am. I love
Yeah,
that, Mike.
we love that, Mike.
And that inspires me because, like I said, Mike, I feel like I'm in that area right now where I'm kind of rediscovering myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't enjoy going out and getting drunk anymore. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does drift you away from certain people. Like when you became sober, did you drift away from your friends, family? Like, how was it?
Yeah, it was really isolating at first, right? That's what's so interesting. It was like you have to like shed the people that are not there for you, and then you really realize who's there for you. Like some of my friends, my ride or dies, they were through it. They're through it to the end, and I love and respect them. But you find out who your friends are, and like some of them, the ones that just were there for the good times, like they dropped off, and that's okay. Like it's a blessing, right? It's a blessing.
That's
And
true.
then the friends sober, it's just like it's like a whole new level of friendship. And actually I feel like it's easier to make friends. People go, oh, you know, it's hard to make friends when you're in like late 20s or early 30s. I really didn't find it. Didn't find that the truth, because it was like, I don't know, like I really believe in like vibes and like connections, so I was just able to more be like, these are my people, like this is my tribe. It's like I could find them quicker.
And you weren't concerned about being like the boring friend?
No, because it was like that's like how you can tell, right, who's for you. Like if you think I'm boring, then bye, we're not hanging out. Like I've got that self-confidence, that I've got that power, that it's like, okay, if you don't think I'm great and this isn't like a mutual friendship. And it was like that before I met my partner as well. Like when I was dating, it was like, if we're not on a mutual vibe, that's fine, move along. Because before, when I was drinking, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just drink and it'll be fine and we can be friends and I'll just get drunk. Even, do you know what I mean? Like, even if there's no connection, or even if I don't like the person, I feel like the other person doesn't like me, I would be drinking. It's like, no, let's all be real. Let's all be clear. Like, are we vibing? Are we not vibing on any level, right?
Yeah. And you know what? That could go for a lot of different things, not just friendship, because I find that like when I'm not really vibing with a guy, but I want to keep
Yeah.
talking to him and maybe have a sexual relationship or whatever with him, I'll drink when we're together.
Okay, this is the number one. I mean, that is so, yeah. So like sober dating is wild. It's wild because you
Really?
are, yeah, but it's really good because your boundaries get so clear. And sometimes you just have to say no. Say no, but you're able to get through it like quick. You're like, okay, so like the vibes off, and I don't have the drink to hide behind. So I'm gonna leave, and good
That's
luck.
true. You know what? I always felt like it would make my dating pool, I feel like, is already so small. And if I cut, because did you only date sober men?
No, I also, by the way, like I'm bisexual, so I dated women as well.
Okay,
And
sorry.
I dated, no, some were sober, some weren't sober, but it was about, I would always be like, this is, like I put on my profile, like sober, vegan, and automatically that put off like 70% of people. They were like, I don't want to date this girl, she's so boring.
See, it's like they connected with being boring.
Okay,
Vanilla Vibe
well,
said, how did she stop herself from not going back to alcohol when she faces tough times?
I'm in therapy. I'm still in therapy. I probably will not, or I can't imagine a time where I won't be in therapy. And my therapist is a trauma therapist. She specializes in addictions. And so for me, one of the first things she said to me was, you going back to alcohol is like a dog returning to eat its own vomit. And like, that's such a disgusting image for me, that, and it sums up like everything that I don't want in my life. So I know when I'm going through tough times, like I don't want to go back to that dark place. I don't want to go back to that place of sabotaging my own life. So why would I, right? It's like, why would I?
I love that you use the word sabotaging your own life because, oh, I went through a period about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Um, hey Harlem, thank you.
Ah,
Um, where you know how you go, you drink and then you get the next morning you're hungover, right?
yeah. Oh,
Which I hate, by the way. But my friends would be hungover, but I would be like practically dead for like 2 to 3 days. Like I was like dead, and I thought that was just how my body reacted to alcohol. But I found out that I had some issues with my blood where I didn't have like enough blood in my body. So every time that I drank, I was basically killing myself, because I didn't even have blood in my body. But I didn't know that. So that's why after a night of drinking, I couldn't function for like 2 to 3 days. And
what?
yeah, I had no clue that that was what was going on, but my friends would always like laugh and joke like, "Oh my god, you drink and then you can't function for like days," and like it would affect my career because I couldn't function for like 2 to 3 days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was able to get my blood issues fixed and whatnot. So if I do drink, it's not the way that it was before, but it's we're really like messing with like playing with fire, kind of, you know what I mean?
Crazy, Eka.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
God.
a it was a crazy time in my life, and I think that's actually why I started slowing down and going out and
Okay.
drinking to excess and whatnot. Um, but and I'm sorry that I assumed that you only date men. I do that. I'm so bad at doing that. But
I mean,
so
married. There's just one. There's just one man for me.
oh, you're married? Oh, I love that.
I'm
So is your partner sober?
no, he's not. He's not. He still drinks, but he is able to control himself. He's not. He doesn't have a problem. Like he's never had a problem, and actually, he's been like such like a stable supporter in my life. Like because when I met him, like I was just really like honest and just laid it out, and I was like, this is going on, this is going on, and problem with alcohol, and don't do this and don't do that, and he was like, okay. So I was like, okay.
I love that. But so it's not hard for you, like when you see him drinking. So like, no.
No, I'm not
Mm.
like I'm just like I say, like I'm just not in that space. Like I don't mind other people drinking because that's their business, but it's about for me. Like it's about for me. So I know, and he's really good. Like it's not like he's there like, well, in front of my face. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not doing that. But am I gonna say to him like at Christmas, babe, you can't have a drink in front of me? No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
not fair on him.
beautiful. And I love that you said, he has control over it. So that's kind of how I feel. Like I don't feel like every single person in this world should be sober. That's not how I feel. But I do feel like if it is a problem for you and it's lessening like your value of life, you should recognize it and make the changes that you need to make, whether that's drinking less or whether that's stopping to drink at all.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and everyone's different. I think we all have to go through that journey to find like what's best for us. And that's another thing that maybe people who are sober curious, they call it, like that's why they shy away from like the sober space or like the AA space, because they don't want to just stop completely, and that's okay. That is okay.
I love that. And so, what about, like I said earlier, like I do drink when I'm not 100% comfortable with a man. And if we're going to do something sexual, like I got to have a few drinks because you're not my man, but I got to loosen up and stuff like that. So, like, you don't feel like it's made any changes in your bedroom? Like, you don't feel the need to drink
um
before y'all
a
gonna.
100%. Like I know this is TMI, best sex of my life, sober sex, best my whole life. I'm serious,
No,
best
I
life.
believe
You
you.
can feel it through your whole body. There's nothing like numbing you, blocking you. Like when you have that connection with that person, like with my fiance, sorry, I don't know if he's watching it, and sorry TMI, but like it's amazing. And I just never had that before. Like before sober dating, like I was always drunk. I could never remember half the time. I wasn't present in my body. But like the experience of being fully present in your body with someone who knows what they're doing in bed is amazing.
That's important.
Okay, get that one wrong.
So I know you said your business is the non-alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
So is it basically juice though?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is juice. So, no, I love it, and I love the question. So we will get like non-alcoholic products, like we'll buy them in. So there's some really nice like non-alcoholic champagnes, like non-alcoholic cocktail bases, and there's like a certain range about like what is considered like non-alcoholic and what isn't. But I won't use anything that hasn't either been like halal certified, so that it's safe for religious non-drinkers, or is it's got to be like less than 0.5, because that is less amount of alcohol than is found in a banana, and like people eat bananas, right?
Oh,
um yeah, so that's what I use.
I
And then
love.
also carry on.
Uh, I didn't know that there was liquor or alcohol in bananas.
There's alcohol in everything. Our body releases, I think it's like a half of like ethanol just naturally. Like that's the thing, it's a naturally occurring thing. Yeah, it's not something that's terrible. It's not, it like large amounts, it's a poison. But if it's something we're naturally producing,
Yeah.
like,
Which is how I feel about a lot of things in life. I feel like everything in moderation is fine. Alcohol actually has health benefits. So
yeah,
if you're drinking it casually or once in a blue, it can actually help you. So it does have some health benefits, but again, it's people who have an issue with it. So where do you serve these non-alcoholic beverages? Is it just like people hire you to come do it, or?
yeah. So at the
Yeah.
moment, because we're so like, we literally, so my fiance is a carpenter, so he builds the bars, so it's like mobile bars. And then we'll drive to, like, we did, like, there was a wedding fair, so we were the bar for that, like a corporate event or a birthday party. And sometimes we'll like experiment and we'll make our own cocktails. We did, this was really fun, we did a brunch at, Glossier, the beauty brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so their UK store, we did like a brunch for all these like millennial mums, and there was like a rose like champagne cocktail for them, and they were like, oh my god, this is so good that I can drink. It's like 10 a.m. and I'm not gonna get drunk, then I can go back to my kids. So like just like
I
cute stuff
love
like that.
that. I love that. So it has like a little tinge, like a banana, like you said, of alcohol.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I love that. So I would love to end this with getting some advice, like from you, for people out there who, are struggling with kind of letting go, because it is a big change. Like you said, like, you start realizing who's for you, who's just there for the good times. Like, what advice do you have to people who feel in their heart like they want to make that change, but they just don't want to let go of their current life?
Don't have to like make that change all at once. Like that's the misconception, right? You don't just have to stop. Like you can begin that moderation journey, and there's some really great like websites out there. There's so obviously there's like in England, we have Alcohol Change UK, and they're like the biggest resource for like moderating your drinking, or stopping your drinking. Then we have Club Soda, that's like a platform for mindful drinking, but some like amazing accounts. So um, Sober Black Girls Club, that's the club that I follow. And then like one of my friends that was in that club, she's also been like a kind of unofficial like advocate, so she's always got my back. And I do think it's important to get that support, like find that community that works for you, right? Then it might take you a while to find that, but as when you've got that supportive community, I think that's when you can really start to build. Like we all need to have people that like hear us and see us and feel us. And maybe sometimes the family and friends that we're out with right now, if they're not supportive of your journey, maybe you have to let them go for a bit and then come back to them.
I love that. Hey, Titi Luisa, my aunt is watching from Puerto Rico. Mike
Oh,
is sober. Mike is sober said quitting is like ending a toxic relationship and there is a grieving process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's right.
Yeah. I think that's part of where I'm at, even though I'm not quitting completely, but you know, it's a little bit where I'm at in life. So thank you so much. I love this conversation, and I definitely want to have you on again for maybe a different type of topic if you're down for it. And
Well,
huh?
that would be so good. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Yes,
It's great to
thank
like
you. Yeah, and it was great to do this sober too.
okay, yeah. Like how did you find the experience?
A little different, you know, it's a little different than typical. It's definitely a topic that I feel like, you know, I feel like a lot of people, they just don't want to talk about it, you know. They want to keep living in the happiness of what the drinking brings and not talk about anything else. So, and I understand that. And it showed in my views, honestly, because the other spicy topics get, you know, so much attention.
Yeah, but do you know what? That's okay because I feel like whoever's here, like it's meant for them. It's meant for us all to talk about it. Like, don't worry about the views, Eka. They're going to increase. The more that we talk and the more that we share, more people are going to tune in. So don't even worry about it.
Amen. I love that. Thank you. I know it's late over there, so get you some sleep, and I'll talk to you soon about another topic. Okay.
Yay! Okay, girl. Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
guys. Thank you
everybody.
for tuning in.